One such incident occurred in June of 1904. The General Slocum, a popular steam ferry in the harbor, was hired by St. Mark's Church to take 1,300 of its women and children on a picnic. On the way to Locust Grove, fire broke out on one of the lower decks and quickly spread. Panic ensued on board as the captain ordered full steam ahead in an effort to ground the ferry. Charging up the East River ablaze, the Slocum caught the attention of the tugs Wheeler, Sumner, and Goldenrod, who cut their tows and pursued the Slocum. But it was a smaller tug, the John Wade, captained by its owner Jack Wade, that was able to reach the Slocum after it grounded. Wade nudged his tug's bow to the stern of the Slocum, where 50 children were immediately evacuated. In further attempts to rescue children, the Wade itself burst into flames, but was extinguished by a fireboat. Undaunted by the near loss of his own life, Captain Jack Wade jumped into the water and rescued even more children. The tug John Wade saved nearly half of the survivors that fateful day. "103 years after the Slocum fire, tugboats were called on again to save lives. After the collapse of the World Trade Center towers, thousands of people were trapped in lower Manhattan.
We got all the captains together, myself and Bert Reinauer, and we told them we don't know what we're getting into, but we want to know if you guys would volunteer to go and take your crew and your vessels up to Manhattan. At that time, all 4 of the captains that were here said yes, they would go. As New York Harbor is such a small harbor, a lot of us know each other. So on an incident, we kind of knew who can do what. And we put 100 to 150 people on each boat. Any place people wanted to go that there was enough people, we would send them there. A lot of the people that came down to the South Battery Wall were covered with soot, crying, shaking. We thought that if we took the bed sheets and the blankets and the towels, we could wash some of the soot off their faces, off their hands, make them comfortable. We wanted to make them feel warm and comfortable again, back that somebody did care about what they just saw or what they were through. Kept shaking hands and hugging our crew members, saying thank you for being so kind and so helpful.
The ties that bind tugboat crews in New York Harbor run deep. Once a year, this unspoken bond is celebrated with a tugboat competition.
They have to be real tattoos. I know a lot of you guys use those rub-on ones.
It is a time when crews from competing companies unite in a celebration for their love of tugboats. Modern tugboats are not as numerous in New York Harbor as their steam ancestors were, but with increased horsepower and better maneuverability, they can accomplish far greater tasks. Upper wheelhouses are recent modifications to help the helmsman see over the massive barges. Z-drive propellers allow docking tugs to perform maneuvers unheard of 25 years ago. Far from the shores of Manhattan, the future tugboats of New York Harbor are being built in places like East Boothbay, Maine, where boat building has been taking place for hundreds of years. A tugboat launching in East Boothbay is a reason to celebrate a long heritage of shipbuilding. Carrying out a tradition hundreds of years old, the men who built the tugboat drive wedges under its hull, freeing the keel, allowing it to slide down the greased waves. The Linda Moran, christened by her namesake, is a state-of-the-art 5,000 horsepower articulated tug barge. At historic South Street Seaport on Manhattan's waterfront, crowds gather to witness the christening of two new McAllister tugs. These state-of-the-art Z-drive tugs will be used exclusively for ship docking.
We thank you for their captains and their crews. And now I ask you, Rosemary and Patty, to christen your tugboats in the tradition of the champagne bottle broken across the bow, thus to bless them and bring them into the McAllister family and fleet.
When we celebrate the spirit that has driven tugboats and their crews for over 100 years, we see a model for future endeavors, perhaps a way to forge our own dreams.
Security, Janison, push floater barge. We're eastbound off of Cadell's, Janison. Security, inland sea. Security, call, close, 6 service. Floater barge, close, tank barge.